Hello and welcome to the class of utilization of electric power. Dear students, in this video we are going to study about different type of heating. Now before we study about different types of heating, we need to know what is electric heating and what are its different types. Right. So since we have already studied in our previous one class about resistance heating and induction heating. So let us just recapitulate first what is electric heating, and then we will study in details about dielectric heating. So electric heating, it is a process in which electrical energy is converted to heat energy. The common application includes space heating, cooking water heating, and industrial processing. An electric heater is an electrical device that converts an electric current into heat. The heating element inside every electric heater is an electrical resistor and works on the principle of Joule heating. An electric current passing through a resistor will convert that electrical energy into heat energy. Most modern electric heating devices use nichrome ware as the active element. The heating element depicted on the right uses nichrome ware supported by ceramic insulator. So electric heating, it is a process in which electrical energy is getting converted to heat energy. Now to convert this heat energy, there are different types of process, and depending upon the process, this electric heating has different application. Now among them, the basic property is that for electric heating, a basic element is being used, which is known as heating element. Okay, and this heating element in most of the cases it is used as nichrome element, nichrome ware. So advantages of electric heating. What are the advantages of electric heating are: electric heating is free from dirt, hence minimum effort for cleaning is required. Electric heating is free from flue gas, hence no need of exhaust system for heat generation. Temperature control can be done very easily. An electric heating system is economical compared to other conventional heating systems available in industry. Both the installation cost and running costs are quite low. Automatic protection against any abnormality in the heating system can easily be provided in electric heating. The efficiency of the system is quite high compared to other equivalent heating systems. The electric heating system is noise free. Starting of the system is quite faster other than heating or other heating systems. So electric heating itself has a lots of advantages. Since we are using electrical energy, so the advantage of electric energy is the advantage of electric heating. Like, it's free from dirt, it's free from noise, it's free from sound pollution, it's free from environment pollution. Again, starting braking can be easily done in electric heating. Again, efficiency of heating is very high than other types of heating. So these are some advantages of electric heating that makes it more useful than any other type of heating. So as we have all know that this is the types of electric heating. So according to the types, electric heating can be broadly classified into three different types: resistance, arc, and high frequency heating. And among them, high frequency heating is being classified under induction heating, dielectric heating, and infrared heating. And arc heating is classified under direct arc heating and indirect arc heating. In our previous class, we have covered resistance heating and induction heating, and here in this class, we will try to cover dielectric heating and arc heating. So dielectric heating. Now dielectric heating is only employed for heating of non-metals. For non-metallic heating process, we prefer or we have the only option with dielectric heating. So when a changing electrical field is applied, the molecules of the material to be heated will try to align with the field and follow the field changes. At well-defined frequencies, rubbing between the individual molecules leads to internal heat development and an increase of the temperature in the material. So these two are known as polarization effect. How radio frequency heating works? From this figure we can see that power supply is being connected to different electrodes and a AC supply of 40 megahertz is being applied to the heating elements. When a capacitor is connected to an AC source, practically the phase angle between the current and voltage applied is not 90 degrees. There is some leakage current flows between the two plates through the dielectric medium and the power is lost. This power is utilized for heating the charge. Depending factors. See here we can see Xc equal to 1 by 2 pi Fc and power equal to 2 pi Fc V square by tan alpha. Now alpha is the angle between the current, resultant current and voltage. Loss factor E. The ease with which a dielectric material can be heated is represented by what is known as the loss factor. Alpha in the above relation is loss angle. For a given material, the loss factor is not a constant value. These are dependent on temperature. With increasing temperature, the loss factor will increase. So, these are the details of loss factor. Now, dielectric properties of some materials. See here, we can have loss factors of different materials at different frequency and temperature. The materials are water, salt solution, alumina, ceramic, quartz, glass, nylon, polyethylene, Teflon, PVC, and as we can see, the temperature increases, the loss factor in 30 megahertz increases and then it again decreases. Similar for higher frequency also. So most maximum loss factor is having with salt solution and water. Effect of the field strength. The power dissipation is proportional to the square of the field strength. The upper limit is that of the breakdown voltage of air. Dry air at 1 atmospheric pressure breaks down at approximately 3 kilovolt per millimeter, but for safety reasons. Radio frequency installation operate mostly with a field strength between 80 and 160 volt per millimeter. Application, what are the application? Plastic welding, vulcanization of rubber, gluing of wood, electronics wing, heating of raw plastic and food processing. Again, food processing can be like pasteurizing milk, dehydrating fruits, defrosting frozen fruits, food. So these are the application of dielectric heating. So here we can see some machine where dielectric heatings are used. So this is swing machine. Wood gluing, this is also the application of dielectric heating. Heating of raw plastic, again the application of dielectric heating. Food processing, a vast application where dielectric heating nowadays is being used with a successful result. Milk pasteurizing, as I have already told you. So these are all the application of dielectric heating. So dielectric heating, what we can summarize that it's mainly employed for non-metallic heating process. Whenever we need to heat some non-metallic materials, dielectric heating is the only way. And the principle is based on if a capacitor is connected with two power supply, then some heat will be get lost, and that amount of heat will be used for dielectric heating. And here we have studied about some loss factor value of some non-metallic elements. Next is arc heating, electric arc furnace. So this is the pictorial representation of arc heating. An electric arc is an electrical breakdown of a gas resulting from a current flowing through normally non-conductive media such as air. An electric arc furnace, it is abbreviated as EAF, heats charged material by means of an electric arc. So this is the exterior view from side of arc furnace. See here, steel melts, water-cooled panels are this, where water are there, cooling water. This is the slag door. Electrodes are inserted here. Now electrode mast. This is known as electrode mast. This is the cylinder, hydraulic cylinder, and refractory hearth. Structure of an electric arc furnace. The furnace consists of a spherical hearth in the bottom, cylindrical shell, and the swinging water-cooled dome-shaped roof. The roof has 3 holes for consumable graphite electrodes held by such mechanism that provides independent lifting and lowering of each electrode. The electrode and the scrap form the star connection of 3-phase current, in which the scrap is common junction. Oxygen lancing is used on some furnaces to increase the rate of carbon removal from the melt. The furnace is mounted on a tilting mechanism for tapping the molten steel through a tap hole with a pore spout located on the back side of the shell. A hydraulic rocker is used for stirring purpose. The charging door through which the slag components and allowing additives are charged is located on the front side of the furnace shell. The charge door is also used for removing the slag. Refractory lining of electric arc furnaces are made generally of resin bonded magnesia carbon bricks. Physical processes in an electric arc furnace. Melting process starts at low voltage between the electrodes and the scrap. The arc during this period is unstable. When the electrodes reach the liquid bath, the arc becomes stable and the voltage may be increased. Temperature of the arc reaches 3500 degrees centigrade. So you can see for an arc furnace, for an arc heating, we can have heat energy generated up to temperature 3500 degrees centigrade. These are some facts and advantages of arc furnace. Electric energy consumption of a typical electric arc furnace varies from 350 to 700 kilowatt hour per ton of steel produced. The main advantage over the basic oxygen furnace is their capability to treat charges containing up to 100% of scrap. About 33% of the crude steel in the world is made in the electric arc furnace. Disadvantage: enclosure to reduce high sound level, because arc furnace produces plenty amount of noise. Dust collector for furnace of gas, slag production, cooling water demand, heavy truck traffic for scrap, materials handling and products, environmental effects of electricity generation. So these are some disadvantages of electric arc heating. So students, here in this video we have again studied about two different types of electric heating. In these two electric heating, again one is dielectric, another is arc furnace, completely two different types. Now from your semester point of view, one among them can come as a short note. So prepare them as a short note question. So you have to cover all the topics, all the points we have discussed over here. So go through the video more than once, and if you need any data, you can search Google. You can refer book J.B. Gupta, Utilization of Electric Power, G.C. Garg also. So go through the video, and hopefully there will be no doubt, and if you have any question you can share that in the comment section and I will surely answer that. Thank you.